Hello? Anybody there? Hello? Hello? Okay. Before we can understand the functionalities of these ERP system, we need to understand how documentations are done, how reporting is done, how configurations are done. Because in every business environment, a documentation has to exist, the system has to function very well. So we are going to understand the back end of the system. Today, we will start with what? Introduction into database. Introduction into database. Before I start, let's take an example. Example 1. When we are talking about businesses, two types of businesses. One, we have business, sorry, we have business to business. We have business to customer. B2B, B2C. These are the two types of business that we have globally. Getting ready to become an SAP sales and distribution consultant, we need to understand this business environment and how does this business environment relate to database. Example 1, illustration, scenario. Let me put it, scenario. We have, let's say, Amazon and you. We have Amazon and you. Now, oftentimes, when we talk about customer in the business environment, we need to understand the level, at what level is the customer being referred to. Amazon as a business sells product. When you go to Amazon to buy things, this is what happens. You buy product. sell product to you. You pay first for the product. Receive payment. Then shipment occur, and you probably deliver product to you. End of transaction. Now, the business scenario, the business scenario behind the transaction is this. Sales order, billing, delivery, Do we understand this simple scenario? Hello? Do we understand?
Telling me
that was a trigger point more than anything else.
it was no, but prior to that, I had been wanting him to just go. I had asked him
Anyways,
like
you said he was there for 3 weeks and you end up spending
7 months, because he.
Do you guys understand, Mr. Steven and David? Do you understand?
Yeah.
You see the process?
This is a business to customer scenario.
Yes, this is a business to customer scenario at a retail level. This is at a retail level, at a what? A B2B, a B2C process. This is a what? B2C process. So how does these relate to what? To database. Now we're going to go to this. How does it relate to database? Is this Amazon information collected from you by Amazon. Now, let's look at the information collected from you by Amazon. 1, name of customer. 2, customer address. 3, customer phone. 4, customer payment method. 5, customer card. Customer card number. Card CCV, card expire date. Now we have, let me put it here. Six, product information. 7, purchase date. And yeah, they will put it 8, delivery date. 9, maybe, let's leave it that way. Let's leave it to that 8. Okay, now, during that transaction, what Amazon collected from you, they are going to collect the name of the customer, customer address, phone number, payment method, card number, CVV, expiring date, product information, purchase date, delivery date. That is what this information will be collected from you. Because Amazon collects these informations from more than 1 million customers, you cannot expect them to have a paper record of these informations. So all these informations will be stored, all these will be stored. All this information, these information is stored in a database. What is a database? Let's look at the definition of a database. A database is a collection of information, is a collection of what? Information that is organized so that it can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. Now, 2, let's break down database. Data, 2 words, base. Data, say what? Facts. Is it what? Facts. That's what a data is. It's a what? It's a fact, collection of what? Of facts and informations. When we say collection of facts, fact for what? Let's say facts and statistics. Facts and statistics collected together for references or analytics. For references of analytics, what? Purposes. What is a base? If you look at the word base on its own, it sounds like a what? Like a location. We can say a base is a what? A center. Can say a base is a center of operation. A center of what? Operation. So when you put these 2 words together, it becomes a place where facts and statistics are collected for reference analysis purpose and a center of operation. That means a place where information comes together. A place where information comes together, stored, can say keep, for what? For business purposes. For what? Business purposes. Now, do we understand so far?
Yeah.
Do we understand so far?
Yes.
All right. So now, let's move to the second phase and see. When we say that a place where informations are collected, facts are stored, everything are stored, how is this information collected? How are these information collected? How are these informations collected? 2. How are these information stored? 3. How are these informations managed? 4. How are these informations retrieved? Or accessed? 5. How are these informations updated? Okay. This is what we're going to look at. Number 1, how are these information collected? 1. These informations are collected from different applications or softwares. From each front end access, e.g., SAP system, CRM, or let me just use it this way. Let me just put it this way, e.g., ERP systems, CRM systems, and others. Now, remember that ERP system, we have several. Go ahead.
Are we going to get these recordings after the slide?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
We have what? Several. These is applicable to these. It's applicable to these and these. We have several application systems that are built by different companies. By what? Different companies. Now, we are going to go back to our first example. Number 1, we have dealt with what? How are these information collected? These informations are collected from different applications or software from each front-end access, e.g., ERP systems, CRM systems, CSM systems, and other systems. Number two, how are this information stored? Now, this is where, before we go to that number two, let me explain something further. All right. Example. Or let me just say scenario. Let's put it and say scenario one. Based on our example, Amazon, take for example, Amazon uses a CRM system. This is Amazon website. Amazon website. You have product 1, product 2, 3, 4. You are the customer. You, customer. You buy 2 products. You buy what? 2 products. So now when you buy that product, at the back end of this website, there is a system that is standing this way at the back end. Back end. The system is standing. Because you, as a customer, this is Amazon website with different products, and you go to Amazon website to go buy. You, as a customer, must have an account with Amazon. You must have an account with what? With Amazon. This is your account. Which is what? Name, address, card, info, card information, delivery info. Because your account is also connected. Your account connected to Amazon. Now, this system at the back end connecting to the Amazon website, this is a what? A database system. Now, when you buy that product, immediately you're clicking buy that product. Immediately you pick the product, all this or your information, when you are entering your information and the first time when you are creating an account, those information as you are creating it from the Amazon UI, which is user interface, when you are creating your account on the Amazon user interface, your name is stored in here, address in here, card info in here, delivery info in here. This product, when Amazon is, whoever is selling, whoever the seller is putting his product on Amazon or whatever product Amazon have, when they created this product, when they created product 1, all the attribute of product 1, Samsung, let's say Samsung, let's say attribute, product 1 attribute, let's say product 1 attribute, let's say iPhone 6. We have color black, size big. Let's say these are part of the attribute. When all these products are being created, these informations are stored here. This is how informations, number 1, how are these information collected? These informations are collected through this process into a database. If you are whatever system that the company is using, be it an ERP system, CRM system, CSM system, or other application systems that are developed by other developers or other software application programmers, at every applications and systems that are used for business purposes, the moment a customer feeds his information, the informations are collected and they are stored in a database. This is how informations are being collected. Informations are collected by the software application front end, which is normally called the user UI, user interface. That is where the informations, that is how informations are collected individually. This is how informations are collected. Do you guys understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll go to the second thing. The second one says, how are these?
Hello?
Hello. Okay, now you guys understand now.
Yes.
So now let's go to the number 2. How are these information stored? That will take me to 2. How are informations stored in a database? Informations or data are stored in a tabular or table format in a database. What does it mean for data and information to be stored in a tabular or in a table format in a database? One. Now, let's talk about customer. Customer information. We have name. Under name, you have first and last name. We have address. Under address, you have what? Street, city, state, zip code, and let's say country. Right? Let's say you now have what? Delivery address. Let's say the delivery address is what? Same thing. Same as residential address. Okay, so this is the customer's information. Now, secondly, we have what? Now, card information. We have something like this on card information. Name on card. Card number. Card CCV. Card expired date. Let's say we have that. Then we will have something like this. We can have something like this. Customer task, let's say classification. Oh, maybe customer is an NGO. There's a customer is taxable. We can have tax, location, have county, no, after location, and you can have what, maybe tax code. So let's stop there. So let's say these are the customer's informations. Now, all these informations are collected for the customer to be able to buy things on Amazon. And these informations have been collected and is existing on Amazon's database. Now, we said these informations are stored in a table or in a tabular format. How does this mean? Now, an example of a table. An example of a table. Now let's look. We now have what? This is a table. We have let's put it that way. Now, why is this information stored in a tabular format? It is stored in a table format so that the informations are accurate and there is no redundancies. And how does that happen? They will now have, based on this table, is a customer table. They will now have what? Name. No, let me put it this way. They will now have what? First name, last name, address, SACT. We now have, let's say, zip code. Let's put country here. And what is the last one? Country, zip code. And let's say customer ID. Customer ID. Because every customer needs to have what? An ID consistency. So now, once a customer goes to Amazon and register his account and fill in his data, this is how the data will be stored in a table format inside a database. We will now have first name will be what? Steve. The last name will be Larry. Say Houston. Address 111 Houston Road. Country, US. Customer ID 01. Zip code 78666. When another customer comes and create an account, his information will come. Bill Smith. This might be Dallas, 227 Dallas Road, US 0275111. This is how the informations will be stored in a table format in a database. Now, once this is stored like this for different, then there will be another table another table. There's another table now that is going to hold what? The card information, which is going to be, take for example, it's going to be name on card, card name, expired date, CCV, what other things? Card numbers, card zip code, and customer ID. We will now have something like Steve, Larry, say MasterCard, and we'll have maybe 07 2018. 07 2018 115. Card number might be 55555. Card zip code 75816. And maybe customer ID will now be what? 01. We'll come here, have what? Bill Smith. And once we have Bill Smith, then maybe this is Visa 02 2017. And we have 308. And the number might be 433333. So card zip code might be 75111 and 02. This is how it's going to be all true for these individuals. This is how it's going to be all true for these individuals. Do we understand? Are we still following?
Yeah.
Mr. Steven, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anna, are you still there? Okay. So let's move on. So now, this is how it's going to be. So now that these informations have been collected and stored this way, the other informations, which is called the last one, which is what is going to call what? As a task classification table. The task classification. task code. Let us put it task code. No, what's wrong with my pen? Why is it pouring? So this might be, let's say, let us put it and say okay, let's say this place, we put it and say this is what? Tax ID. Is tax ID. We can put it and say tax code. And the other one is tax location. And let's say customer ID. So this might be 01, tax location, Dallas, code maybe 1111, and ID might be 01, 02, 2223. You can have Houston and 02. All right. Do we understand the structure of the table that I've put on there?
Yes.
Okay. Now, with all of these tables that I've created, you can see what I've been doing since. With all of these tables that I've created, you can see that the way informations are stored in a table format in the database. And I know that we have seen these information several times, either on an Excel file sheet or on a database. In case we're not familiar with it, and we might be familiar with it, but this is how the informations are stored in a database. Now, these informations are already stored in a tabular format, in a table format. Inside a database, this is a structure. This is a structure of a database. Let's say this is a database. Inside this database is where you're going to have table 1, T1, T2, T3, T4. As many tables you can have in a database, as many tables you always have in a database. Now, let's go back to this. How are these information managed? Now, before, when these data are stored, in a database, and we have seen the way they are stored in a table, these informations, they don't just come into the tables just like that. There is something that is called data modeling. There's something that is called data modeling. When these data are coming into the tables, through the modeling of how these data are reported, that is how the database is being built. When we talk about modeling, hold on. When we talk about what? Modeling. When we talk about modeling, it's a process in which these data are being modeled into the database. It's a process in which these data are being modeled into the database. And we have what? Different types of what? Data modeling. We have different types of data modeling. This is often the first step. This is often the first step in database design, or how data are related to each other. As an ERP analyst, let me mention some few data modeling. We have logical data modeling. We have, I think, conceptual data modeling. We have enterprise data modeling, etc. But the one we are going to deal with is this one. This is the exact one that concerns us as a what? Either as a sales and distribution consultant, either as a sales and distribution consultant, either as a database ERP analyst. Take, for example, I have someone here that is doing SAP HANA, or trying to do SAP HANA. This is the major one that we will be concerned with, the enterprise data modeling, because the enterprise deals with the what? The business. SAP ERP system is all about the business. It's all about the information coming into the system. And enterprise data modeling is what we are going to look at, and we'll understand it because this is how the system is being managed. When we look at this, how are these informations being managed? We are going to look at it, how they are being managed. So we're going to look at the enterprise data modeling. When we talk about enterprise, I don't know what's wrong with my pen. Maybe it wants me to start writing with my hands. Okay. When we talk about enterprise data modeling, let me say EDM. When we talk about enterprise data modeling, it's a practical creation of graphical models and data. Example of enterprise. Now we'll begin to see how these old things make what sense. We'll begin to see how these old things make sense. Product, Amazon. Amazon product. Sorry, attribute. I don't know why this is giving me a problem. Okay. Amazon product attribute. Product. Hold on, please. Just give me a sec. Please, just give me a second. Let me try and fix this. Pen. What is an to have a clear understanding of an enterprise data modeling? Now, Amazon product attribute. iPhone. Let's use an iPhone. Okay. Okay. Let's say this is okay. That means I'm gonna probably type this since this is giving me an issue. And okay. So let's say we have what? We have the product ID. We have the product ID. Okay, so we have the product ID. Then we have product ID, product description. We have a prod color. And let's say we're just going to leave it by 3. Let's say 3. We have product color. Now, we also have customer. Let's say we have what? The customer. Here we're going to have what? Customer ID, customer name, We're going to have what? Customer address and product ID. Product ID. And we now have other information. Other information, we have the word order ID, order date, that's the date the customer orders it, and we have the product ID, and since we have the customer ID, customer name, customer address, product ID, order information, product ID, order date, and the next thing we're gonna have, let's say we now have what? We already have the product descriptions, product color. So I'm gonna put this. Okay. So, all right. So we have the customer ID, the product ID, product description, product color. Then now we now have what? Other information. On the customer information, we have the customer ID, the customer name, the customer address, and the product that the customer bought. Now we have the other informations. We have what? The other informations. So we have the customer informations, the order date, the day the customer ordered it, and the product ID. And now, the last thing, let's say accounting. So we're gonna have the customer ID. We're gonna have the product ID that they bought for account purposes. We're gonna have the account ID that the payment is gonna postal, and we might not have the payment card, and so on. Now, how does enterprise modeling plays into this? Enterprise modeling, let's put it at this. Enterprise modeling, I would say, is a typical output. The typical output on activities relating to an entity transaction. Related to an entity transaction. So now, when that product is bought, all these attributes of these things are already in a database. Now, when these informations are going in, there has to be a relationship tying the customers together. Now, in this table, product table, customer table. Order table. And let's see, account. So let's look at this. What is the relationship between these four tables now? What is keeping these two tables together is product ID exists here. If you look at this place, product ID, connect this, and customer ID connects this, and also what? The product ID. Now, if you look at whenever you call Amazon or you call any company that you have bought something from, and you say, I bought something from you, the first thing they're going to ask you is, what is your customer ID? When they pull out information with your customer ID, it is certain that the product that you have bought will what? Will also pull out from that system, because it is a relational database, that because there is something connecting one product to another product to your account. This is the same thing in the B2B environment, in the B2C environment. When data are being stored in a table format inside a database, there is something called a database diagram that pinpoint every tables, giving every table a unique key. And if you look at this table, its unique key is the product ID, customer ID, order ID, and what? Account ID. If you call in now, you call a company and you say, oh, I bought this product. Even when they don't ask you your customer name, they can say, oh, what product? What's the product ID? If you give them the product ID, they will pull out that product out. They will pull out the product. When they pull out the product, then they will not ask you, because there are several people that has bought that product. They cannot ask you, oh, what date did you purchase this? By the time you give them the date, once they go to the date order information, the order table, once they go to the order table, they are going to pull out with the order date or order ID, then they will pull out more order information about that product. The date you ordered it, the day your customer account, and the product information. So this connection is what they call relational database. So sometimes in a job, they will ask you, do you have an excellent understanding of a relational database? The reason we are going to this is that there are a lot more that I'm going to teach on this basis of a table. Now that we have understand how data are being stored in a tabular format, and they are being stored based on the way the model of a database, when it comes to an enterprise database, be it an ERP a CRM or a CSM or any other business applications. Their database is built based on on an enterprise data modeling. And when it's built on a data enterprise modeling, it means that the collection of data from the ERP system to the database depends on the relationship between those informations. That is how it's being reported into the database. This means if you are looking for an order that the customer orders and you know just the customer, the order number, with the order number, you can be able to locate the customer information, the date that order was purchased, the account that the payment for that order is going to, the payment information of the customer. You can pull everything out with just you knowing the order number. Now, here is the trick. When you are pulling out those informations with just the order number will always be on a table. You have to know the table that receives the sales orders. And when you pull out the table that receives the sales order number and you identify the order that you are looking for, the accounting table might be in a different location. But because you already found the sales order number at the order table, believe me, on that table, there is a column. There is a column. When I made the structure of this table, hold on. The structure of these tables, these headers, you see these headers, these are called what? Columns. These are called columns, and these places are called rows or records. Now, if you want to identify the relationship between a table, you have to identify those relationships at the what? At the columns level. At the column level. Because the column is the header. So when you pull out a sales order, take for example, you pull out a sales order from a sales order table, then inside that table, when you look at the column, there must be a column there on that sales order table that can refer you to another table that an information is existing relating to that sales order. Just as I've described here. This product, take for example, this is a sales order. Let's say this is a sales order. This ID number, let's say this is a sales order. Sales order 11111. When you pull up this table, this order table, and you are looking for the customer that bought this or that bought this product, just for you to know that, how do I get this customer information? This customer information is in another table, but I need to get this customer information and I want to know this product. And the product also is in another table. But because you are able to pull out a sales order table, from that sales order table, you will be able to get on the headers level on the column a column that will direct you to other tables that this particular order have a relationship with. And I am going to show you guys in the class of this, in this 1 week that we're going to be dealing with what? Database, on how to connect the dot. Because this is very, very important. Once you know the foundation of a database of an ERP system, you can work in any ERP system and SAP. It gives you a broad knowledge for you to understand how to work together with ABABAs. Okay, now, so that is it. I'm going to say let's take a 5 minutes break. Let's take a 5 minutes break, then we'll come back from the break and let's just understand a few things about tables. When it comes to table, this is what you see. All right, we've seen a structure of a table being like this, being like this, being like this, being like this, being like this. Or let me quickly do something. All right, I'm going to quickly do something. We'll begin to look at the structure. All right, so let's understand some few things. An example of a database. Okay, now, so let me go back and do this. New, let me actually get it from here. All right, so come here, pictures, come here, delete. All right, let's understand some basis. Okay, this is a typical table now. Let's look at typical tables. All right, you can see the product ID. You can see the product ID. You can see name of the product. You can see product number. You can see flag. You can see all these. You can see it. Like I told you, these are what? The column. These are what? The column. Now you can see these is the data. This is the data. These heads are what? The columns. Now, the data is a fact. When you put...
I've got a question. So the columns are the product ID, the name, the product name, the flag,
Yes.
and okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are the product, the column.
The columns, okay.
You can see these are the data. So now you can see this product ID, all these informations inside one straight line of the table.
Mm-hmm.
This is called record or information. You can see that one data, a single data, a combinations of data makes the records and the information.
I've got a question. So what is the difference between the HANA and the column?
The what? The ANA?
Yeah.
What do you mean by the ANA?
Because you said something earlier on regarding column.
ANA. I will get there. I will get there by ANA. Don't worry.
Okay.
So now, this, you can see this is a data, and this combination of a data is the records and or information.
Okay.
Now, these tables, you see these tables? This number is called numeric because it's a number. This is called text. All right? Okay. Now, this is what? Numeric and text. All right. So now, let's continue to look at these in details. Numeric and text. How is this space you can see here, this space you're seeing, all this space, these are called fields. Now, all these things, numeric and text, fields, how does this numeric, text and numeric, how do they get into all these fields? How are these data coming in? How does this table knows what data to accept in individual field? This is because a table has table elements or structure. A field that accepts numbers. A field that accepts numbers is called numeric field. A field that accepts text is called text field. What are their elements? Text fields are char, varchar, and varchar, etc. Characters, variable characters, numeric variables, characters. number fields are called numeric. We have int. We have big int, etc. Numeric, numbers, integers, big integers. We have small integers, etc. Do we understand? Hello, guys. Do we understand?
Yeah, I think we do. I'm getting it. I'm kind of waiting for the primary fields. Is it always like that?
Yeah, we are getting somewhere. Just slowly.
No, I'm asking, is it always that way? Numeric fields
What do you mean by is it always that way?
in every database.
Yes, all databases. All.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So now, these are the structures. So whenever, before a data is put inside these tables, you're saying, whatever table it is, an element structure is being built on this table. When they are creating this table, in this class, we will not look at how to create these tables because those are for my SQL Server Data Analytical classes. It does not pertain to us that are into ERP system. We don't create tables. We don't create tables. Tables creation is meant for DBAs. Is meant for people that wants to do SAP, ANA, that are doing databases. Those are the ones that are responsible for creating tables. But every SAP comes with a predefined default table. So you don't create tables in SAP. The only reason you create tables in SAP is if they have an extensions. Extensions, they want to do other things, and those are not the job of we, the sales and distribution consultant, functional consultant. It is not our job. It is the job of the developers to go do those things. So, but before any information is stored in this table, these tables elements have already been built. These table elements have already been built in this way. So when this place is product ID is taking these numbers at the back-end structure, that field product ID is what? Integer. ID is what? Integers. When this one is taking its own value, like this field is taking its value, there's a tendency that that column right there is what? Is a what? A numeric. There's a tendency that that column right there is a what? Is a numeric. Product ID is what? Integers. When this field you're seeing, the main field is always text. Now, is always text. This name field is text, so that field at the back structure is either char, voucher, or n voucher. Now, let me tell you the differences. The difference between the structure. Char, when it comes to char, character, you have to specify. When it comes to this, every field, these fields you're seeing here, you have to specify these fields you're seeing right here. These fields that you're seeing right here, you have to specify the amount of characters or data, let me say, you have to specify. You have to specify the length of data to be accepted. Take, for example, this name. If name colon, if you have a name colon, if the character here, the char, is specified to be 20, this means this field can only take 20 characters of data. Example. Name now. Let's say, what name will I put? Let's say if I come here and say, no, let me just change this so that we don't go overboard. Let's say, example, let's say this field is specified to take, well, let's say five character. If I come here, if I put Stephen. Stephen is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I try to put Stephen here, this name field will not accept. It will throw an error. So you need to understand that the structure of the table. Now I'm going to show you just a typical example. Are you guys following me?
Yes, sir.
A typical example, when I come to my SQL server, let me go to my SQL server. You can see this table that are open here. All right. You can see my table here. Let's look at this. If I open my table, columns. Let's look at these columns. If we look at the product ID, what did you see here? INT, int. You can see name. The name is what? N voucher, variable voucher. What did you see they specify here? What is it here?
Finished goods?
No. This place, what are you seeing? Finished goods?
Yeah.
Can you see what I'm showing you here? Name.
Oh, yeah.
What is written here? What am I pointing at? This place.
The limit is 25. It's 50.
It's 50. That means this field, this name field, can carry what? 50 characters.
Okay.
If anything more than 50 characters here, it will reject it.
Gotcha.
This field product number, if we look at product number, which is right here, you can see that it is N voucher 25. If the character here is more than 25, it will what? It will reject it. It will not take it. You can see color, N voucher is 15. If the color character is more than 15 character, it will what? It will reject it. So let's go back. So now, let's look at this in a nutshell. Let's understand some few things in this database. N char is a character. N voucher means this field can only accept text. This field can accept text and numbers. This we can accept what? Text and numbers. Voucher, this field can accept, this field can accept both text and numbers. This one can accept text, numbers, and special characters, e.g. at. So if you're saying in a char field, if in a char field, comma, if you put Steven at yahoo.com, it will reject. But in a N voucher field, it will accept it. Do we understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now this is a structure behind a table that I've shown you guys. This is a structure behind a table. So now that we have understand these here, we have seen how these information are collected, how these informations are stored. Now, how these informations are managed. We are going to look at this, then we'll call it a day for today. How these information are managed. How these information are managed? IT speaking, in the world of information technology, because data has become so relevant in our society. In the days of the old, we have different records coming in, and these records are being kept on papers. But how long will papers be kept? So information technology started, and they said, okay, how do we manage these data? How do we manage them? All these data coming from one angle to the other. How do we manage them? Now, example. SAP system. Every business transaction processed are stored in a database. This is where the informations are managed. So now, who are these companies? How does these informations are they being managed? What databases? What databases are they being managed? In this example that I showed here, in this illustration that I showed here, in this illustration that I showed here, I think it was this. In this illustration I showed here, I see whenever this information is imputed account on Amazon, it reports to a database. Now, every company companies will decide what type of database are they going to buy from the market that will manage their data, that will manage their information, that will manage their resources. Companies, when companies begin to sort for database that will manage their information, that will manage their resources, that will manage anything, then they begin to look for companies that are reputable. This is where informations are managed. And who are these database providers? And here we're going to look at what? Database providers. And this is where you begin to see different companies. Different companies provide database management. 1. Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, SAP, SQL, Sybase, let's just say ETC. Microsoft, MS, SQL, Server, Oracle, DB, Server, IBM, DB2, SAP, Hello, do we understand so far?
Yes.
Annie, do you understand now? Annie?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm following.
So now this is where you see these places. These places are where these data or information are managed. This is where these data or informations are managed. Now, a company before, naturally, most of the companies that are well known that have database are these. This is mostly for online people. This is online. You always see my SQL. This is online. This I have not worked in this. I have not done this. I have not done this. But at least I've worked in this. I've worked in this. I've worked in this, and I've worked in this. Now, the thing about these few databases, there are a lot of other database servers where these informations are stored and are put. For us to be able to work in this environment, if you understand how to manage, retrieve data from these databases, you'll be able to work in others. The only difference is their structure might be different, but the language, the query language is always the same. If I'm telling you go, go is go, come is come. But in Microsoft environment, I might say go, but in Oracle environment, I might say, you know what, I think you should go. It's just a long process, statement upon statement before I finally tell you to go. In DB2, it might be, you know what, I think you should leave. I am not saying go, but I'm using the word leave. In SAP HANA, I've not gone through the database yet, but it might be that instead of them saying go, they might say run. So, but one thing is, if you understand the structure of one, you are able to work in the structure of the other one. Now, I was trained in this, but I have been able to work in this environment and in this environment. Do you need to know how to work in this environment as an SAP consultant? Yes and no. Do you need to know how to work in this one of this environment as an ERP analyst? Yes. Why? The reason is this. As an SAP consultant, you might be working in an environment where they are doing data migration. They might need an extra hand on people that might be generating report, people that understand data, people that knows how to analyze the type of data that they need. It becomes a plus for you if you have one of these experience. Because with this, the most vastly used applications of this database in the world is these two boys. These two boys, 1, 2, Microsoft SQL Server and Oracle. They are the #1 most vastly used in the world. So if you know one of it properly, you can work in all of these. These ones you will be able to work in their environment. Secondly, why do you need it as an ERP analyst? In the company that I work for, I work on JD Edwards ERP. And now the company was using this as a database, but because I couldn't work in Oracle properly, they gave me access with this to their Oracle, because the two of them, they shake hands together. Why am I using it? For reporting purposes? Because there are some informations that their ERP system cannot give to you when they have an issue. But because the ERP system is connected to a database, and they give you access to that database to just go directly to the source and get whatever you are looking for and resolve whatever issues that you might be passing through. So these are the reasons why it is good. In case you find yourself in an environment where they have multiple systems, ERP system and database, and you have to use both of them at the same time every day, at least you have a leverage.
Can I quickly ask a question?
Go ahead.
So are we going to learn about the Microsoft and the Oracle?
We are not going to learn Oracle. In this 1 week, we are going to learn the basic skills that you need in Microsoft. Okay. And that is this engine that I've shown you. This is the exact database engine you are seeing here. Okay. Now, let me show you some few things. This, you can see an introduction. What is this? You can see this is what database. This database is the same thing all over. This is a Microsoft SQL database. This is the database. And when you look inside this database, you see other databases, system database, AdventureWorks database. For this class, in this 1 week, we are going to train with this data. AdventureWorks database. If I expand it, you don't need all, you see the database diagram, which shows the relationship between those data. All these other ones, programmability, storage, I'm not going to talk about it. I only talk about this when I'm training my SQL Server data analyst students. But the one we are going to look at, you can see tables. You can see if I expand tables, these are all the tables in this database. We are just going to use 1 or 2 as an example for the next one, for the next 2 classes that we're going to do. And you can see in this table, you can see one of the table that I use here now. You can see the information on this table. This is what we're going to start with in our second class, how to retrieve information from a table. If I come here right now, if I close this out, you can see that you are seeing a dummy table. All these tables are here, and they ask you to retrieve an information. You want to retrieve an information from this table, you must know how to retrieve the information, which is the what? Which was the what we're going to talk about in the next other classes. How are these informations retrieved and accessed, and how are these informations updated? So that is what we're going to learn in the next other classes. But for your information, this is the Microsoft SQL Server, is what we are going to be using as our learning curve to understand how an ERP database is structured. And I'm going to show you also SAP tables, how it is being structured, and in the learning class, so that we have a better understanding. But we're just going to be using Microsoft SQL Server as our learning curve to understand how a database works and functions. Any other questions?
I have a question. This is Amy. I have a question. I'm wondering, so if this class is all about querying the data and accessing what we want, like, right? It's not about creating tables or schemas or all that. It's just using whatever data is available to query to satisfy the client's needs. Do I get it right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, in this class, for this SAP class that I'm teaching, I'm not teaching how to create the tables, because as a consultant, as an analyst, ERP analyst, it is not our job to create the tables. It is not our job our job is it's not even our job to manage the data. That's the job of the DBAs, the data analyst, and stuff like that. Our own job, in case you are employed, you are hired as an ERP analyst or as an SAP consultant, sales and distribution, so that you don't, when you see documents, when you see report, when they ask you report, or you are thrown into an environment where they also leverage a database as their day-to-day business requirement, so that you don't get lost in it, so that you understand what they want you to do. In this place, I talked about ERP. I talked about JD Edward. This SAP, this is an Oracle ERP. This is an Oracle ERP. This is an Elosen ERP. This is a Microsoft ERP. SAP ECC 6.0, SAP Business 1. These two are a product of what? SAP AG ERP. This big company, this small company. Our class is going to focus on this. SAP ECC 6.0, and we are going to be talking about this. We are going to be talking about sales. Our class is sales and distribution module. Sales and distribution module. And in that sales and distribution module, our focus point is going to be at this level. B2B. Our focus point is going to be on the what? B2B, which is business to business. And you're going to understand who is the business, who is the customer. And we're also going to talk about this as well, B2C, but not in depth because it is not really. Some companies demand that you know what B2C is because it's part of their business process. But as an SAP, this is what they use. SAP Business One is for this. SAP ECC is for this.
Okay. I have a question.
Go ahead.
How come we're not going to be going in depth to the business to customer? Mind you, I have no technical background. I'm just asking like a lay person, because if the module is sales and distribution model, how come? Who do you sell to? Customers, right?
Yes. Okay.
So can you elaborate a little bit more between the difference? Because maybe I was a little bit distracted by when you talked earlier about the B2B and B2C. So
I didn't want to really I didn't want to go to that topic today. After these two classes we are having, three classes for this week. On Thursdays and Saturday, we are going to cover everything about database. Okay. Our next class next week on Tuesday, I'm going to be starting with what? Understanding. I'm going to be starting with understanding B2B and B2C and understanding order to cash. So now, just a brief, you are thinking, let me just quickly bust you guys' bubble. When we talk about business to customer, this is at the retail level.
Okay.
And
business to business is like the company to another company.
Business, yes. I'm going to show you something. So business, this is at the business level. Okay, now example, business level. I know everybody will like what? Example. When example is HP sells to Walmart. This is B2B process. Now, Walmart sells to Annie. This is B2C process. Now, B2B calls Annie a consumer, not a customer. Do you understand?
Yeah, I'm following. Yeah.
So would this just be this brief breakdown? I think this is what we'll call it a day till next week.
This is good enough. I think you pretty much, yeah. Because I was thinking. I think more. I just have to take my accounting hat off. That's all. Thank you.
So that's it. We'll call it a day for today, and everyone. Hold on. Where is the table? I need to hold on. I'm trying to look for the table.
Just go back to your SQL. Go back to that.
When we're talking about the voucher, the end charts.
Okay. Yeah. So yes.
My question is, if we're trying to query data for, say, Shell Brazil, and does it mean that the database, the DBA, like you said, the tech guys, the back-end guys that created a table and put all the stipulations and limits on, I'm not sure if I get this right. So if the table is created, say the schema or whatever, and then these limitations are all put in there, then we'll query, say, for Brazil, not Houston or USA, would the company have the same limits all around? Because what if names in Brazil are longer than names in the US?
That's the reason why. That's what they call data. That is what is behind a data modeling, and when it comes to data modeling and creating a database. Now, like the DBAs, the DBAs. This is what the DBAs. Based on the DBAs are the administrator to the database, they administer the database, and they created the database. Now, if they're going to be creating a database for like Brazil, the data modeling that they are going to use in creating their database structure is going to be based on their requirement gathering in Brazil. So now, if they're now creating that table, individual tables, now you have to understand one thing. When I say database, sometimes when you are creating these tables, it's not that you are going to create all these tables. Most of these applications that you are using, example, SAP, you don't have to create these tables in SAP, because when a vanilla SAP or a vanilla ERP is bought, it comes with its own database. That means it's a structured tables have already been built as on everything inside an ERP system. All they need to do is a database like a SQL Server, a Microsoft SQL Server, or what they call it, Oracle, will be plugged in. That's where the source comes from. The source will be plugged in at the bottom of the SAP system. When I mean at the bottom, I don't mean I'm just using an example. Will be plugged in a way that the database itself of the ERP system will be replicated, and be put inside the Microsoft SQL Server database or Oracle database or SANA database. So it's like a reporting. Once the data is coming into the SAP from the front end, when they are processing transactions and data, filling in information, automatically those informations go to the exact tables that have already been predefined in the SAP system, and automatically goes to the database itself, bam, because the database has already been created at the back end to the source, through the sources. So every information coming into the SAP is being fed into the database. The database is just like a storage location.
Yeah.
You understand? It's a storage location. So do you understand what I'm saying?
You know, I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
It's just like schema mapping. It's already there. So you pull it and then you try to massage. Okay, I got you.
Yes, you try to. The only way they can create a new table. Take for example a requirement. If you have a requirement that the table does not exist in SAP, that is where SAP gives you an ability to create an external table. And when you create an external table, those tables are called the Z tables. They are called those external tables. Whenever SAP is creating a table, it's called SAP Z tables. So these are the only tables when you create it is based on a requirement, and that requirement must have been gathered during a project preparation, during blueprinting phases. That okay, there are some requirements, there are some data, there are some tables that we will need, but didn't come with SAP. We have to create it, and when they are creating it, then they have to say, okay, what columns are going to be in this table? That means what are the fields? What information are the columns going to be carrying? What is the table structure going to be like, the element? If this column is coming, what are the field elements? Is it going to be a char, n varchar, numeric? What are going to be the character acceptance? All these things would then be created at the back end through a Z table in the SAP. Once this Z table is created, the element, the columns, everything will be given a name by Z or Y, because SAP gives you that when you want to create a table, you create a table to Z, but we give you a naming convention of Z and Y for if you want to create or enhance the SAP system. So now when they create a Z table, then the Z table, they will create the columns, everything for it, the table structure, the field structure, and everything. Once it's created, bam, the table will exist in the SAP. And same, whatever database that is the source of the SAP will be automatically the database also will see that table.
Got you. Thank you.
So that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see on Thursday. Okay.
Thursday then. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you
Good
very much.
night.
All right. Good night.
Bye.